Give it like a minute and you can kick it off.
Okay.
All right, y'all ready for me to admit?
Sure.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. My name is Charlie Stillwell, and I'm the head of school at Episcopal. This is my 9th year at Episcopal, and we're really appreciative that you could carve this time out of your evenings tonight to learn more about
Our video's turned off.
school. We have a neat program, as you see from the slide. We're going to have a chance for you to hear from a number of our students, and then a chance to hear from several of our faculty members. And I hope this program will give you a chance to learn, begin learning more about the many different things that make Episcopal such a special place. I also hope as you go through this admissions process that you have a chance to come and visit with us in person on campus. It's really hard to fully appreciate just how special the learning environment here is until you have a chance to come and see these 450 students who come from all around the country and all around the world, living together, learning together, building these wonderful friendships, and then having these very close relationships with our teachers that help them be their very best in all areas of school life. But with that, tonight, I'm going to turn things over to our Director of Admissions, Mr. Scott Conklin, who will then kick off our program. So again, thank you so much for coming tonight.
Thanks, Charlie, and welcome everybody. It's good to see you all. I appreciate you joining us on a Monday night, and we're excited to start the next step in the admissions process. So tonight, in just a few minutes, you'll hear from a group of our students and then our faculty, and then we'll finish it with just some information about the admissions process, the application process that Tron Kim Sr. Will go through. I've been at Episcopal for 19 years now. I've had 2 children graduate from EHS, and my youngest daughter is currently a junior. As we're going through the open house tonight, if you could just kindly mute your microphones until there will be opportunities to ask questions where you can unmute and ask a question or put it. I think I just got muted. So with that, I will turn it over to Phil Spears and our students.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Phil Spears. I'm the assistant head of student life here at Episcopal, and I'm proud to be able to say that I've had two sons at Episcopal. I've got one right now in the 10th grade. I've also been a 9th grade advisor. I'm a 10th grade health teacher. I'm a varsity softball coach, and I get to work with some outstanding professionals and some great students, several of whom have joined us here tonight. And I think the most important thing you're going to hear tonight is what they have to share with you about Episcopal High School as you start to try to figure out what the next great step for you is on your educational journey. So I'm going to let the students introduce themselves right now, and I'll start as they're spread out on the screen. I'll call on them actually. So I'm going to start with Freddie, and the students are going to just say who they are, where they're from, their hometown. And they're going to say the year they entered at Episcopal and then what they love to do here. So Brunson, why don't you go first?
Hey, how's it going? My name's Bronson Wickham. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. I entered Episcopal my freshman year. I'm now a senior. I'm serving as the head monitor for this year's school year, and I'm also a member of the varsity soccer and lacrosse teams.
Thanks, Brunson. Hey, Sayla, what you got?
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. My name's Sayla McCrae. I'm a senior. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I entered as a freshman in 2021. I'm currently serving on the honor committee, and I'm a tutor in the writing center. And I row in the girls varsity crew team in the spring.
Thank you, Sayla. Let's see. Tristan, are you there? All right. Lucinda, why don't you go ahead?
Hi, I'm Lucinda. I am a junior, but I started here as a freshman. I'm one of the presidents of activities committee, and I'm currently running varsity cross country.
Thank you, Lucinda. Levi.
Oh, and I'm from San Francisco.
Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Levi Babin, class of 27, so I'm a sophomore right now, and I came to Episcopal last year when I was a freshman. I'm from Alexandria, so I'm local, and I work with various programs at the school as well, emerging scholars, and I play varsity football here too.
Thank you, Levi. Nelly.
Hi everyone, I'm Nellie. I came here as a new sophomore. I'm from Palm Beach, Florida. Here at Episcopal, I am a senior monitor as well as a dorm monitor on Harrison, one of our dorms. And in the fall, I play varsity volleyball.
Awesome. Thank you. And Doric.
Hey everyone, how you doing? I'm Doruk Konak from Istanbul, Turkey. So a little bit international in there. And I'm a dorm monitor. I'm a senior right now. I came in as a freshman. I'm a dorm monitor on the freshman dorm, and I'm also a member of the varsity tennis team.
All right, super. So parents and students, I'm going to pose the first question to our panel, and then I'm going to let you all start putting in the chat questions you might have for the students. But the first question I wanted to pose to them for you all to hear is a flex experience, a DC experience. One of the experiences that you all have had as EHS students going into the city that was fun, enriching, particularly memorable, what class it was for, what you did, and why it's stuck with you. And we can just go in the same order of the intros, and then share a little bit about going out in the city. Brunson, that would be you first.
So sophomore year, I went to Hamilton with Miss Smith's 10th grade English class, and we saw that at the Kennedy Center, and it was actually really cool. So we went and saw the play on a Wednesday night, and then after, at the same time, kind of that we went and saw the play, we were also learning about Alexander Hamilton and his campaign for the National Bank in our history classes. So we saw the play, and then the next day during class, we related the different English devices that they used in the play to how they conveyed the different messages that we were learning about in our history class, which is really cool that we got the experience and then also got to learn about the next day in the classroom. So that was probably one of my favorite flex boxes I've been on.
Sayla, and then Lucinda.
I think my favorite flex block was one I went to recently. In my advanced US government class, we went to the United States Institute of Peace with Captain Eldred. It was really amazing. I really liked it. We got to hear a little presentation about the history of the Institute, and then we got to have kind of like our own like individual little question and answer session with two of the diplomats who were had recently graduated and were starting their career in this field. So it was really cool. And it started to plant seeds for us to go into things like diplomacy and international relations.
Okay, I couldn't think of my favorite off the top of my head, but I'll go with the most recent one because I really did love it. We were reading about different Native communities that lived on land around Chesapeake Bay, and our reading mentioned a small island called Theodore Roosevelt Island, which I had never really heard of. And we took a bus there, and we were able to hike around that island and explore that land, and just being able to connect like a real place back to our reading. And then we were able to do this really cool project where we were able to design our own monument that we would put there if we were able to design it. And that was with my advanced American Studies class.
All right, Levi, Nelly, and Doric, how about a flex experience or trip that you enjoyed off campus?
So yeah, this year it's a bit different because it was with the football team, but earlier in preseason, we went to this program called Little Lights, and it kind of helped like the impoverished neighborhoods in DC. And I felt like, nobody was really like looking forward to it at the time, but once we got there and really like helped clean the building and really learned every people's like story, it was kind of interesting. And I felt like I really gained something out of it by just giving back to the community and kind of like feeling accomplished that I had done my part in kind of making everybody's day better.
Yeah, so I think mine would be last year in my calculus class. We went to the Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C., which was just really a great experience, especially in calculus, to learn how calculus is used in the real world, because that was definitely something I was a little bit confused about. But, it really cleared things up and it was a really cool experience.
Yeah, kind of similar to Nelly. Last year in my pre-calc class, we went right by Reagan National and we were able to see planes landing, maybe like 50 feet above our heads, which is really, really cool. And we were also able to, learn about how planes come at an angle and how that relates to what we were learning in class, which is really cool.
All right, thanks. So that gives you a little bit of sense of some of the stuff that our students do as they head into Washington, D.C. And if you have questions about that or anything else, you're more than welcome to type them now into the chat, and I'll try to take a look there and see if there's a theme that I can pose for our students. Doric, I'm going to have you continue and then ask Selah second, though. How about what's been a favorite class of yours so far here at Episcopal? That you think has done a lot for you as a student in terms of your learning and growth as a student. And Selah, kind of that same thing. What's been a class that's meant a lot to you during your time here? Doric, how about in the classroom itself?
I think freshman year English was one of the best classes that I took. It was with Mr. Kuzi, who I think is an awesome English teacher. And yeah, I was really helped me a lot, not only in terms of, academics, but also learning how to talk with people and discussing and stuff like that, which is such a big part of every single class that we take here. So I think that was a really important class I took freshman year.
I think mine would be my honors Spanish 2 class that I took sophomore year. The class was full immersion and it was pretty difficult at first, but our teacher really just encouraged us to try our best. And I would say that set me up pretty well for the rest of the Spanish classes that I would have at Episcopal and helped with my speaking and comprehension. And then it also helped me do a summer program where I was also speaking Spanish.
Great, thanks. Got a good question here. Let's see, Nelly, why don't you and Levi take this one? What motivated you why would you want to come to Episcopal? Why did you want to be here? Levi, I think that's a great question for you in particular because you're from just down the road. And what were your first few weeks and your first year like overall? So Nelly, why did you come up here from Florida? And what was it like when you first got here and then over year one?
Yeah, sure. So I chose Episcopal because I went to a school that was a little bit far from my house. It was about 45 minutes, and I loved the community aspect of Episcopal, how it was 100% boarding, how, my mom calls this a giant sleepover party. She's like, everyone just comes and is so much fun and has the best time. And that's really how I feel. And I think in the first week, I totally felt that. I came for preseason my sophomore year for volleyball. And I think really just kind of getting immersed in the community, everybody is here to help. So getting to know everybody and just those kind of first weeks, everyone wants you to have a good time. So everyone's kind of looking out and having your back. So I loved it. Still do.
Yeah, I think the main thing for me, since I'm local as well, I made a 2-hour commute to school every day from my previous school. I think the main thing was just time management. You come here, you get to kind of sleep in the morning. When you get off practice, you can kind of go straight back to your dorm. So it's definitely you learn to manage your time here. In my freshman year last year, we went on Birch as well. So it's like as soon as you get on campus, you're off in the woods with your classmates. So I feel like as soon as you get here, it's already you're bonding with your classmates, and it's a bond that you never really can shy away from. It turns into a family almost automatically. So, and also being local, my mom was kind of scared for me to go to boarding school, but since it's close to us, she feels that she can come and support me, and she can always come through the campus if she wants to. So it's kind of cool, especially if you're local, your parents can kind of see you if they want to as well. But just being at Episcopal, it's a family. That's the main thing that kind of motivated me.
Thank you, Levi. And for students and parents, Levi just mentioned our annual Birch tradition for ninth graders, which is when our freshmen, after a couple of weeks of school, go off together for hiking and canoeing in the wilderness of Pennsylvania together on an exciting bonding trip that's outdoors and fun and nature driven. Let's see. How about let's hear Lucinda. Why don't you how about you and you and Brunson talk about have you ever been homesick or had a peer who was homesick? How did you deal with being homesick or helping a friend who was homesick? And that's a good question. Did you have any loneliness, or have you missed friends and family back home? And how have you dealt with that, or how have you helped a peer deal with that?
I can start off with this. Being from California, I'm definitely far from home, and I can miss some aspects of what California is like, especially the mild weather. But when I miss home, I remember that my family is only like one call away, and also that I have my roommate and so many teachers here that look out for me, that just like make me excited to be here, but also support me and understand if you're having a hard day. And I think one of the things that helped me most when I was homesick is being with my sports team, because got super close with those people, and there's somebody and like a group of people that all enjoy doing the same thing that you do, and you can find that common thread. And finding people in different corners of this campus that have things that are similar to you or different than you makes you feel like a little bit less alone sometimes. And I say there's really rarely any times where I feel lonely, mostly when I have my roommate around.
I was definitely homesick transitioning to school. And I would say the first thing that helped me with that is that we are just so busy when we get here. We're get moved in, settled in, and then we start classes, start afternoon options, start sports. So you really get into the flow of school really quick, which helped me with whenever I was feeling homesick, because I was honestly too busy to be homesick. And then the second thing is, whenever I was feeling down, I felt like there was so much support around me, and there were so many people that were here to help me feel at home. I mean, the amount of upperclassmen that I had my freshman year that reached out to me every day saying, are you liking school? Do you miss home? Is there anything you can like we can help you out with? That was something that's been really special about school for me, and something that made me feel like I was a part of the family and I had another home away from home almost immediately coming here.
Thank you, Brunson. How about this question, and a related question to it? Selah and Doric, how hard are the classes at Episcopal? How much homework do you have?
I can start. I would say that some of the classes here can be pretty difficult. One of the things that Episcopal really values is academic rigor and trying to prepare its students for college or whatever they do beyond Episcopal. So I would say if you like engage in some of those advanced classes or those honors classes, they're going to be a little bit harder. But with that, I would say that my teachers are always available for me to ask questions. We have office hours really 3 times a week. And so there's always a little bit of time to touch base with my teachers. But when I came in as a freshman, most of my classes didn't have as much work. So it kind of like prepared me to go up as I got farther along in my academic career. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Selah touched on pretty much all the important points, but I think one thing that's important is that, yeah, there's that buildup where every year it keeps getting, a bit more challenging, but it also depends on what kind of courses you're taking. But I think that freshman year is really important because it helps you kind of learn how to manage your time. And I think that's something that's really important. If you learn how to manage your time, it really isn't, that challenging. Of course, there's going to be, a few weeks where you're going to have more work than usual, but I think that if you're managing your time well, then it's possible to just, breeze through.
Thanks, Doric. All right, maybe Lucinda and Levi, how about this question about a typical weekday here at the high school? Was it from when you get up to when you go to sleep? There's a lot that happens. Can you kind of capture what happens in your typical day? And then Levi, if your typical day is a little different than that, maybe you could add thoughts to that. Lucinda, what's a typical day like for you?
Okay, my typical day, I cannot start a day without breakfast. And breakfast usually has a smaller group of people because not everybody is able to wake up early. But I find that it's such a nice part of the day to like hang out with all of your friends. And for freshmen, they make them sign in for breakfast 4 out of the 5 school days. So they're, kind of forced to get into that good routine. And then we have a class in the morning, and we have some sort of community meeting, whether it be all of us getting into Pendleton and hearing announcements, or it be gathering in chapel. And then we have another class and we have lunch, and it's either we have seated meals sometimes with our advisory, or free seated where you can sit with your friends. And lunch is always a good time to get done any extra work or anything. And then usually there's 2 more classes of the day. And Dork was kind of talking about in Selah, we're talking about like office hours, which is a time where you can go and chat with your teachers and make sure you're all caught up on everything. And then after that, you have a good 30, 45 minutes to throw on your athletic gear and go to sports. And after sports, you eat dinner with all of your teammates and your friends, and then hang out around campus. I try to get outdoors, go to the student center, and then you sit in your room or in the library and get your homework done from 8 to 10. And then I'm usually in bed around 10:30.
Thanks, Levi. Was there anything you'd add there? Are your days slightly different somewhat in there?
I mean, Lucinda definitely touched on it. Make sure you're getting breakfast because that'll keep you energized throughout the morning. So like tomorrow we have 2 classes in the morning, or at least I do. It's one of the days where we have 3 classes in the office hours after. So the one thing I will say, like after each class, you'll have some sort of break. If it's 5 minutes or a 45-minute meeting, it's usually some sort of break. So those little breaks, make sure you're staying hydrated. Because believe me, especially during football season, that's the main thing that I have to stay focused on. And of course, in practice, those are a bit asking, but just getting the right nutrition throughout the day, that'll help you with your academics and kind of your athletics. So I would say, and definitely make sure you're going to office hours, because staying ahead of the game is the key. And just taking any little time that you can. Like today, I worked on a project during lunch. And I'm going to work some more during study hall after this meeting. So just staying ahead of the game is the answer.
And for those of you who might be wondering, is Levi that serious? Is he that serious about these things? Nutrition, sleep, etc. I teach him 10th grade health, and I can tell you he is. He is, and it's one of the reasons he's very successful here. Brunson and Nellie, how about the weekends here? I think some folks would like to know about social life. What kind of fun do we have? What are the weekends like? Does it matter that it's 100% boarding? That everybody's here together, or is that important or not? So why don't y'all take it? Nellie, why don't you go first?
Sure. I think the weekends are some of the best parts, especially because it is 100% boarding. So, when you have everyone out and about on campus, it really is just such a fun time, whether it be a DJ. They have a lot of DJs and karaoke in the student center. Lucinda could probably touch on this too. She's the president of activities. I'm on the activities committee, not the president, but they really work really hard to make sure that everybody has something to do on the weekend, whether it be on campus or if you want to get a ticket to go to a Commanders game or go see Frozen. Like there's so many opportunities, especially since we're so close to Georgetown, so close to DC. The school does a really good job kind of utilizing our location for the benefit of the students, which is just awesome.
Yeah, the 100% boarding is really just a game changer on the weekends. I mean, just having the ability as a student to go knock on someone's door and then have all of DC to explore, or go play basketball, or go play the instrument you're interested in, and just go meet up with people. And there's always people on campus. Camp is always lively, which I love. And then on the weekends, like Nelly said, the DJs are awesome. And then also everyone's here, so people want to go do stuff. Like there was a volleyball game. Episcopal got the dub, which was awesome. And just a ton of students went. There's a big theme, and the student support on the weekends for these different events, whether it's sports games or the musical, is really awesome. And there's always events and fun things to go do.
Thank you, Brunson. Got a good question about support. One, just balancing. How do you balance everything that we do here and being very busy? And then, yeah, if class isn't going well or otherwise, if you're having some struggles, support systems, how to make sure you have, somebody who's, as Nellie was saying, who's got your back. Let's see, maybe Doric and Lucinda and Selah. If you could touch on those things.
Yeah, I think I can take this one. I think it's normal. I think what most people don't realize, like, or don't want to happen is, you come in and you're immediately like on top of it. I think that's really, really hard because obviously you're adapting to, new teachers, new classes, and new people around you in a new room, obviously, because you're boarding. But I think that as time goes on, and I think Birch especially is a really good transition point for a lot of new freshmen, where after Birch, they're kind of on top of it after they gotten used to it, they know what they're doing. So I think, and the school has so many good resources for that too. Like Levi was talking about going to office hours, something that's really important. You can always email your teachers most of the time. They'll respond, pretty quickly. And language tutors and math and science tutors, which are, students who during study hall, you can go and ask questions to them. And I think that's something that's, good resources that you can use.
Yeah, I would say one big way of getting support at this school is through your advisory. So our school has an advisory system where you're put in a group of around I think 8 to 10 students, and have like 2 faculty advisors. And you're in one advisory for your freshman year with just freshmen. And then when you're sophomore, junior, and senior, you're in a different advisory, all mixed in with the grades. And those are spaces where you can get so close to people that you wouldn't really imagine getting close with. And those teachers are also people that will look out for you. Like my advisors, Mr. and Mrs. Davies, like I can count on them whenever, if I'm stressed about homework, they'll make sure to check in and see that I'm okay. They'll help me set up meetings, they make sure I'm on top of my schedule. And also outside of that, your friends are a great support. And also we have such a good health center with a counseling center as well. And it's very like normalized. If you need extra support or help, our counseling center is awesome.
Yeah, I have to agree with Lucinda that the counseling center is absolutely amazing. Everyone there is so eager and happy to help and to help you work through anything that you might have. I kind of want to build a little bit off of Doric's point about our peer tutors. We have the writing center, the language center, and the math and science tutors to help with homework or any other assignments or anything else for those areas. The tutors go through for each kind of like center, they go through a pretty, I want to say rigorous, but like an important application process to make sure that they can do the job. And one thing that I know from talking with Miss Echo is that they're kind of evaluated on whether they can help you, but also their character. So they can be there to help you and be kind and really help you get to the next level. I would say definitely to lean on them, because it's really nice having a student or a peer look at your work versus a teacher. And they're always pretty much around. So I'm in the writing center, but I have friends who are in the language center who, even when they're not on duty, love to help. So, yeah.
Great, thank you very much. It wouldn't be a panel with students, Nellie and Brunson, without a good question about the dress code. What do we have to wear? Today was a casual day, students and parents. So several of us are in more casual attire that we got to wear today, which is great, which we have periodically. But Nellie and Brunson, on a regular school day, what do we have to wear?
So for the guys, we have to wear a button-down shirt, a tie. We have to tuck our shirt in, and then wear khaki pants and tennis shoes or nicer shoes, and also wear a belt.
So the girls usually, well, at least for me, we usually wear either, especially when it gets cold in the winter, pants, skirts, dresses, as long as they're all like kind of the appropriate length and, you're covering like enough. But the dress code is something that, they take really seriously here. Not crazy, like it's not a crazy dress code, but just making sure everyone looks appropriately dressed.
All right, thanks.
Also,
Go ahead, Bruns.
so freshman year, when I found out I'd wear a tie and a button-down shirt, I was like, come on, I was used to wearing a t-shirt to class and athletic shorts. And now, after having worn the dress code for 4 years, I actually love being in dress code because it just makes me feel like I'm in the academic environment. Whenever I go, like I had to take the SAT a couple weeks ago, and I took it in my local high school, and I actually wore a button-down shirt and khakis because it just makes me feel like I'm ready for class and I'm in a professional environment where I'm going to do my best work.
Thank you, Brunson. Students out there, not every student would say what Brunson said, that they love the dress code, which I love that about Brunson. He would say that to you, but I do appreciate Brunson saying he's gotten used to it, and what he just said is important to us, right? That there's some sense of professionalism about what we're doing when it comes to our academic dress. We're about to run out of time here. I want to get every student. I like to finish with this question. In Laird Dining Hall, our dining service, we're just going to get every student's quick answer here. What is your favorite thing that the dining hall does? I'm going to go, let's see, Doric, you, and then Nelly, favorite thing that the food that the dining hall serves.
You put me on the spot because I was like, I hope he doesn't pick me first because I have no idea. But one thing that, I always look forward to, and this might not be my favorite, but off the top of my head, we had this last week. Usually on Friday nights, we might have hot dogs, and I mean it's pretty simple, but I just love it.
Great, Nelly.
I am a sucker for the pesto pasta here. They make a great pesto pasta. It's my favorite. So yeah, that would definitely be mine.
Thank you, Levi, and then Lucinda.
Sorry. Yeah, so I had to say I look forward to Taco Tuesday. It's not always tacos on Tuesday, but when it is, it's a great feeling. And yeah, I love tacos. Fun fact.
I was gonna say the pesto pasta too, but I'm also gonna say I'm kind of a sucker for a good chicken and rice. If they get the seasoning right on that chicken sometimes, and it's really good. But my overall favorite is gonna be the brownies at the back dessert station.
Thank you, Sayla, and then Brunson.
Lucinda took mine. I also love the brownies. They're amazing. But also at the Action Bar, I love the Caesar salad when they make it for us. It's really good.
Awesome, Brunson.
We actually had my favorite dinner tonight, which is ribs and mac and cheese. It's pretty hard to beat.
All right. So our student leaders here on the panel have to get off to study hall and get their homework done. Thank you, students, for being here tonight. I'm going to turn it over now to our assistant head for academics, Mr. Nate Ebel, who's going to lead us through the adult panel. Thanks again, student leaders.
Hello, everyone. I don't know, Tron, are you putting up the slides for everyone?
Yes, I am.
Great. Well, welcome tonight. My name is Nate Ebel, as Mr. Spears said. I am assistant head for academics. I've been at Episcopal for 15 years. And I've done a little bit of everything in my time here. And just to follow up on that last question, I think I'm with Levi on Taco Tuesdays being the sort of highlight of the week. But I also like the omelets on Sunday morning. They are a must. So I'm going to try in the 2 minutes that I've got to kind of condense into distilled form what we do in the academic realm.
And it's a hard thing to sum up that quickly. I can go on for quite a while if left to my own devices. But what I would say when I talk about our academic program, I always think about the idea of balance. In the 9th and 10th grade years in particular, we start out with a really core, fundamental academic experience where students are learning basic skills, getting a good dose of writing, reading, a lot of analytical reading, working through those core subjects in math, language, science. We do physics and chemistry in the 9th and 10th grade years. And really, as you look across the grade, students are taking very similar courses to one another in those first two sort of core years. As students move on, however, we have a number of elective courses that students are able to take. We still have, obviously, our core 5 in English, social studies, language, science, and math. We obviously encourage arts as well. But as students move through their time here, they get a lot of choice in what they're taking in their junior and senior year. And students are able to start sort of crafting their interests and discovering things that they're really passionate about and interested in pursuing. We have over 140 different courses in our course catalog. And we teach 6 languages here on campus and have 2 offered through Global Online Academy, and students taking all 8 of those languages, across the grades. And in terms of balance as well, there's a good core classroom learning environment across the years. But then we also get to have the experience of having DC close by. And so, you're not just learning in Dr. Olson's chemistry class all the fundamentals of chemistry or advanced chemistry, learning about acids and bases there, but then you also, have a full experience, as they were talking about earlier, where you might go to the Lunder Conservation Center, which is part of the Smithsonian, and see how they use chemistry to help preserve important historical documents, and they work with chemists there to see how acids and bases actually affect things in the real world. And so you heard Brunson talk about the theater trip that he took that he recalls very vividly. Our English courses make great use of the DC theater scene. And again, it's a really layered experience where students see the plays, they might go to the plays, but then they're also reading. And in many cases, we actually have the opportunity to interact with the acting troupe, with the production team of the play. And so it's a really rich and layered experience that the students get even beyond the classroom. In terms of the classroom experience and the pedagogical techniques, students have a really varied experience. There's not one mode of teaching and learning that we focus on. They're going to see all modes of teaching in their time here. A very healthy dose of classroom interaction and roundtable discussion. Many of our social studies and English courses have Harkness tables and use sort of Harkness student-centered method, but students will see everything during their time here, flipped classrooms and beyond. So a lot of variation in the types of learning. And I think just in general, if I were summing up the academic experience, you kind of heard it with all of our students. I think you can get the sense that they have very rigorous course loads and they're busy and they're striving for independence, but they also are very well supported along the way. And it's not a competitive sort of cutthroat academic experience. It is a very collaborative and supported experience. And I think you kind of heard that with all of the different resources, the student-led resources and faculty-led as well. And the last thing I would say, I think the hallmark of an Episcopal education is just the close connection and the relationship that students have with their teachers. I think if you were to talk to any alumni, they would single out that factor as being a huge part of their experience here, that their teachers not only were excellent teachers in the classroom, but they also knew their students and were known by their students. And I think that's a huge part of what we do and what we offer, and a huge thing that students take away from their time here. That is I think I went 4 minutes, I'm sorry. My 4-minute academic overview. I'm going to pass it back, I think, to Mr. Spears, who's going to talk a little bit about student life.
Thank you, Mr. Ebel. So while Mr. Ebel is the assistant head for academics, I'm the assistant head for student life. You've already been hearing me talking, so I'll try to keep it brief. I get to work with the adults in those arenas that are co-curricular, that go along with the academics, right? And the things that I really want to stress to you all very briefly are that, as Mr. Ebel said, we're a school built on relationships, right? So there are so many committed educators here who live here. We've got almost 100 faculty who live on campus, right? And faculty homes are often an extension of the student experience. We've got faculty who like to even to tell, dad jokes. Graydon, I see you there. Nora, I see you there, right? And I just have to get this out of my system now. So Graydon, do you know what you call a fake spaghetti noodle? Do you have any idea, Graydon? No idea? No idea. Thanks for trying. I was wondering thank you for putting your audio on there. A+ for tonight. Nora, do you have any idea what you call a fake spaghetti noodle?
This Nora?
Yes, that Nora.
No.
No, Nora, you call a fake spaghetti noodle an impasta.
Oh,
You get it?
okay.
Yes. So sometimes you even have administrators who like to tell bad jokes. Mr. Smith here, you're going to hear from in a second, is already shaking his head, right? This is a community about support. So if I think about the kind of support that we offer here, we have a medical center, a health and wellness center that offers 24/7 support. We have a medical doctor. We have a medical director who's a doctor. We've got 9 nurses. We have a health and wellness studio. We've got a yoga studio. We've got a quiet room where students who just need to get away from kind of the noise for a little bit can be. We've got overnight accommodations in the health center. We've got tremendous counseling spaces, right? For not just for meetings with counselors, our counselors, but for other private sessions as well. When I talk about support, we have over 60 advisors, 5 deans, 2 chaplains, one of whom you're going to hear from in a second, 3 full-time counselors. We want students to be known and to feel supported here. And you also heard some of our students talk about the afternoons after the academic day, right? And so in addition to kind of a robust sports program and robust arts program, you've got a student life experience, I think, that includes friendship and fun in the dorms and in the nation's capital and all around Northern Virginia. And there may be one more slide here in student life that I was going to point out. I was just talking about the new wellness center, and you see the health and wellness center there on the right, and then the 2 dorms to our left are brand new. We've been using them for about 1.5 years, kind of state-of-the-art facilities. We're very proud of it. And this grassy area that you're seeing right now, the student leaders that you just heard from have done a great job of making that both formally and informally yet another kind of meeting place for the school, for fun, for volleyball, for fire pits, and just for hanging out. And so we're very proud of our student life experience, the experience outside the classroom. And another important part of student life is the spiritual life of the school. And so I'm going to let our head chaplain, the Reverend Betsy Carmody, talk briefly about the spiritual life of the school.
For sure. Thanks, Phil. So yeah, I'm actually also a dorm head too. I'm here on dorm duty actually tonight. I told the girls I'd turn the camera on so they could take a wave. So this is Lily and Addie. They're just sitting here processing their day. We just signed everybody in for study hall, and so I'm here in the Harrison Common Room as we kind of have our Monday evenings. Mondays are big class days. We're getting ready. We'll have our cheese tray at 9:30 in our dorm meeting at 9:45. But yeah, I've been here at Episcopal for 10 years. I actually also have a daughter who's a senior here at Episcopal and living on West Dorm and having a great time living on dorm in a dorm room for the first time. She's lived on dorm with me since she moved here in 2nd grade, but it's been a really impactful situation for her here as well. But I stay here at boarding school because I really love the intersectionality that we have here in our religious life. I love that we bring together students from all sorts of religious backgrounds, and that you can see Callaway Chapel in a couple of the pictures here on this slide. It's a beautiful building that we get to gather in 3 times a week. And we have chapel on Monday morning, Friday morning, and then Wednesday evening. It's a mixture of chapel talks from chaplains, students, student performances. We actually sing together, and we actually sound pretty good. And it's a way that we can get together and celebrate together. We can get together and talk about the struggles that we have together. But what I love about the fact that we have a spiritual identity and spiritual life here at Episcopal is that we get to ask the tough questions. We get to ask those questions of, who am I? Why am I here? What am I up to? And what purpose am I trying to meet with my life and where I'm headed? And for some people that has a religious dimension, and for some people it just has that bigger world picture dimension. But this is really a space where we get to talk about what's the community, who are we, who do we want to be together, and then who do we want to be for a world that really needs the energy and the smarts and the heart that Episcopal students have to give. And being able to kind of help students continue wherever they are in their spiritual journey here at Episcopal and to explore that a little deeper has been it's a real gift and honor to be able to partner and walk with students while they're here. So myself, and then Richmond Jones, who's our assistant chaplain, he's in his 5th year here at Episcopal. We love this work, and this is why we stay. So we teach. We're also chaplains. We also coach. I coach robotics. He does rowing and crew and all of that good stuff. So, as well as afternoon service. So it's one of those things. I just love this work, and I love working with high school kids, and so it's why we stay. So we just love to partner with you and your family. And as I say, once your chaplain, always your chaplain. I definitely still have students who leave this place and come back and look to us as a touchstone for them.
Thank you, Betsy. Good evening, everybody. My name is Lewis Smith. I am the director of our Office of Community and Equity. It's great to see everybody here. I really wish you could all be here in person. This is, I think you're getting a little bit of a sense of the community that we have here, how strong it is. I'm in my 12th year. I spent the first 8 years as an English teacher, full-time coach. I was coaching football and lacrosse. I've got 3 sons who graduated from Episcopal. And I started in this role in 2020. And I'm going to try really hard to stick to my 2-minute limit here because I can talk about this stuff forever. And really, my work in this role is just fueled by my sort of faith in people generally. And we have an incredible strength here that comes from this broad range of people who come here from all over the place, all different kinds of countries, races, religions, sexual orientations, any identity you can think of, we've got it here. And that is really a strength if you know how to really tap into that and get people to find sort of a common purpose. And one of the things that strikes me about our community here is it's, people use the word family to talk about community, which is true, but unlike a family, this is a community of choice and a community of purpose. And those purposes are really respect for each other, a sense of honor and a sense of integrity, which is, doing the right thing when nobody else is around. And those things, we are really able to pursue them the best when everybody here feels as though they have a sense of belonging, like this is their home. It's one thing to come here and feel like you're a welcome guest and you're happy to be here and you're treated nicely. And it's sort of another level to feel like this is actually my home, this is where I belong. And that's sort of what we're going for, because any team, any community, anything that you're a part of, you're going to do a better job when you feel like a real sense of ownership, like it's really yours. Betsy was talking a moment ago about our chapel, and that's a great space for these kinds of conversations. Just this morning, one of our colleagues, Tom Hummel, gave a great sermon where he talked about the soul of our community and what is really the soul of this community. And it is about that notion of empathy and love for your neighbors. Betsy was talking about agape love and what that means. And it's really loving human beings for the fact that they're human beings. We're imperfect. None of us is going to do the right thing all the time. Every single one of us was a child at one point where we did and said things that if it were captured on TikTok, we wouldn't be proud of ourselves. That's okay. What we got to do is learn and grow and support one another. And even Mr. Spears with his jokes, I try to support him. I try to give him good material to use, and he just turns it down every time. But I do think he's growing little by little. Anyway, I'm gonna sort of, surrender my time here, because as I say, I could go on for ever and ever, but I love to talk about this stuff. Any questions, please call me. I love sort of believers. I love skeptics. I just love talking about it. So thanks so much. And I look forward to hearing from you, hopefully at some point soon. I will now pass the mic. I'm not sure who's next.
I think I'm up. Hi, my name is Jen Fitzpatrick. I'm the Director of Athletics. You see in front of you our first slide on the afternoon option program. So I'm kicking off the conversation about afternoon options. This is my 18th year at Episcopal. I've coached several different sports. I work on the 9th grade dorm team. I'm advisor to 9th grade girls. And you can see in the afternoons, we have a pretty ambitious program, lots of different options for students. We do require all students to participate in that afternoon option program. For many students, that's an athletic participation. On average, about 85% of our students are participating in an afternoon option that offers athletic credit, and some of those options are interscholastic opportunities. Others are more recreational activities. And we recognize that students come into Episcopal with different levels of comfort with athletics, different levels of ambition. Annually, about 25% of our senior class will go on to play their top sport at the intercollegiate level. And then we have others who just want to have a great high school experience. And we're in a great position where we have about 52 teams and 19 different sports every year, and we're able to support a wide variety of different interests. I think there are tons of athletic programs at secondary schools that provide a great experience, and I think one of the questions for me is always, what makes Episcopal special? If you've been on campus or if you get the chance to come to campus, we are so lucky to have top-tier facilities that allow almost all of our programs to practice and compete on campus every day, which is a huge benefit. That includes a new golf center, which will open in October, that we're super excited about. And for the limited number of programs that train off campus, there are resources that are close by. So the travel to those spots for our rowing team, for our climbers, for our swimmers is within 15 or 20 minutes. So they're able to easily get off campus and then get back to what they're doing here. That proximity to DC is super important, not only because of the resources we have in terms of the facilities, but also because it means that you're not spending a ton of time on the road. When we have teams compete, they're competing largely in Northern Virginia and DC and Maryland. And the way our class day is structured, we try to schedule events on days with earlier releases. So there's a limited amount of missed class time, and folks are getting back to campus in time to get their work done, in time to make sure that we're having that evening experience that the rest of the students have. I think one other piece about that proximity to DC is that's important to mention is that we do have a pretty uncommon level of access to local clubs or AU programs. And we do have a good number of students who pursue what we call an extracurricular. We consider our afternoon program co-curricular, but there are many students that are competing on teams outside of Episcopal in addition to our program. And if that's something that's of interest to you, I'd encourage you to talk with the admissions office about that, talk with our different coaches about that so that we can figure out what the right path might be for your student. And I think you've heard it over and over again. The number one resource that we're super proud of is the people here. I think we have exceptional coaches. We have over 100 coaches. 2/3 of those are full-time faculty or staff members who really understand this place. In addition to that, our athletic department includes 2 full-time athletic trainers and a part-time strength and conditioning coach. You've heard that common thread of health and wellness. I think there's a lot of collaboration between what we do in athletics and that new health and wellness center. And we're excited to continue that and to build that. And what you get when you have people who are really excited about what they're doing and really committed to a program is a sense of culture and community that's really positive, and it's a really important thread in everything that we do. I would welcome you if you have a chance to come to campus in the fall. We kind of kick off this week with some of our major events. We have a Seminary Hill Cup, which is an event that highlights all of our girls athletic programs in the fall. In October, we bring in lights. We have over a family weekend, both a girls soccer game and a football game under the lights. That's a lot of fun. And then we finish it off with Spirit Week in November that culminates in our 123rd football game against Woodbury Forest. More than anything, we want to get to know you. We want people who are going to be excited to be here, who are going to be excited to compete. We want to do it the right way. And we hope that you will connect with folks in the athletics office, but also our coaches, ask lots of questions. And we're super excited to meet all of you. I think it's my turn to turn things over to our chair of the arts department, Mark Carter.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Carter. I have been here. This is my 15th year. I am the chair of the arts department. I teach instrumental music and audio engineering. I'm also a dorm head of a 10th through 12th grade boys dorm and an advisor. And I'm also the chair, or the faculty advisor, I should say, to the discipline committee. So as usual, we all wear a lot of hats here. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the arts. As are all of our programs, we are quite robust in the arts. We offer fine arts, digital arts, and performing arts, and pretty much anything you can think of that fall into those categories. We have 9 full-time members of the arts department that teach throughout the day and then offer afternoon options. And then alongside that are 20 adjunct teachers that come onto campus to teach privately during the week to students who choose to take those lessons. Through our department, we are mostly working artists that are here to teach because we love to teach and we love to work with students. We love to guide them through a new experience, or for some of them, experiences that they've had for many years now and just want to get better with it. So we offer instrumental music during the day, strings, winds, percussion, choir, of course, dance, acting is offered during the day, and of course, drawing, painting, digital arts, photography, pretty much anything you can think of are classes during the day. And then we also have afternoon options for students who would like to advance themselves a little bit more in the arts. So you can have afternoon art, or perhaps you want to be in a theater production. That's when that time period would happen. Or maybe you want to focus on a particular instrument. You can spend some time on one of the seasons in our spaces downstairs focused on that instrument or something that you're passionate about. The nice thing about that is that it does allow you to take arts as a class during the day and then have your athletics in the afternoon. So you can do both. And we actually work really, really well together, the two departments. We want people to be both things. As a matter of fact, pretty much all of our students are artists and athletics, or athletes and academics. They tend to do pretty much everything. And for many of our students, they spend 3 or 4 years in this building while they're here. So we have a lot to offer, and we love to invite people to come by. So if you're here on campus, I invite you to the Ainsley Arts Center. Come by and see our gallery. If we're in a rehearsal, step in. We'd love to have people come in and hear us, see us, and ask questions. And when you do come to Episcopal, we want to see you in our building as much as you can. So I'm going to pass that off to MRC, I believe. Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. It's great to see everybody this evening. My name is Ryan Pemberton, and I am the director of the McCain Ravenel Center. This is my 3rd year at Episcopal, and I feel like I have the best job on campus. I get to work with all of these amazing people, and more importantly, each one of our amazing, 460 or so students. The MRC is a place of connection. We're a place that helps faculty and students connect with DC and the world beyond the gates. I know you heard Mr. Ebel talk about those, all of the different flex blocks or flex experiences, and I'll talk about those in a second. But more importantly, we are a place that helps students think about and connect all of the things that they are doing to think about who they want to become. There is this sort of we ask all students sort of the same questions. We want to know, who are you? What are we learning? What do you want to do? And then how do you reflect on that? You know, there's a saying that learning does not necessarily happen from the experience. It happens from reflecting on that experience. And so imagine an environment where you have all of these amazing people, all of these amazing opportunities, and we're all here because we enjoy more than anything else investing in each of you and seeing you become the very best versions of yourself. And so we care deeply about how all of the different things in your life are coming together to really help you become who you want to be, to attack those goals that you have in life, whether they're in an art studio, on an athletics court, in the halls of Congress, right? That's our job, and we see there's nothing more than we like than seeing you all really succeed in every possible way. So the McCain Ravenel Center, there are three major things that happen under our umbrella. Public programming. We have so many cool people come to campus. It's actually why I'm sort of coming in later this evening. I just came back from a class, and so this fall I'm teaching a class called Leadership Theory, Washington, D.C. and American Institutions, and we're bringing in people, 7 leaders from a wide range of different from different industries to talk about leadership, and we're using leadership as the lens to help understand more about people, humanity, the way people work together, and also sort of the American Republic. And so we had last week we had a speaker come in who was actually it's more of a discussion. We had someone come in who was an alumna, and she was a senior executive at the Cyber Infrastructure and Security Agency. Next week and the week after, we're having 2 big politicos come in. And we've got heads of school, we've got leaders from finance and the nonprofit world. And so students are really, they don't just get to hear from, but they get to interact with people who are really at the tops of their field, and they're learning firsthand. So it's really, it really brings that learning to life. You know, it's one thing to talk about a type of leadership or a trait, and then to actually see it firsthand is really something remarkable. Another thing that we do are externships. So our seniors go out and do amazing things, and it's one of the neatest things that I get to see on campus every year are their final reports, and they bring in people who are important to them, and it's just so neat to see that the way that they grow, to think about the way that they have taken everything that they've done here, put it in, and really invested deeply into an experience, and then to think deeply about how that might impact the decisions that they might make going forward. So in addition to that senior May, we also have an opportunity that AD Fitzpatrick just talked about in an afternoon option. So juniors and seniors also have the opportunity to do an afternoon option and to do an externship. And so we have students working at different engineering firms right now, different companies. We have people, somebody who will be working at the who's working at the U.S. Institute of Peace. So there are a lot of different opportunities, and it's just that, one of the amazing things about our location here in Washington, D.C., in Alexandria, right next to Washington, is that you can continue the things that you are doing and really expand on them. And it's such a resource that you can go and see these things and really bring everything to life and continue with your passions and your goals. The last thing that we have then that I know Mr. Eagle talked about are those flex blocks or flex experiences. They are such amazing opportunities. Last year we had over 600 flex blocks, and that's Tuesday to Friday. Faculty have the opportunity to take students off campus and bring learning to life. And so here are just some examples of places that we've been to just in the last couple of weeks as school has really gotten going. The U.S. Asia Institute, the IRS, the Lincoln Memorial, the American History Museum, the National Gallery of Art, the Folger Theater, the Woolly Mammoth Theater, the National Museum of African American History and Culture. Those are just what we've done in the last couple of weeks. And so this is part of, it's a major part of the student experience here. And again, we're all here because we want to invest in each of you, and we want to think about how we tie in everything in the Washington, D.C. area to what you're learning, but more importantly, how we tie together everything that you've done so you can become the very best version of yourself and really thrive and connect those portrait qualities to everything that you want to do here and beyond the gates. And now I'll turn it back over, back over to admissions.
Thank you. I'm sure that you all have many questions for our faculty members about each of their areas. But in the interest of time, and we don't want to hold you here with us forever, we're going to transition to talk to you a little bit about the admissions process. But if you have any questions for any of the folks who just talked about their areas, please feel free to reach out to the admissions office, and we'll be happy to put you in touch with them. So don't hesitate to reach out. So my name is Tron Kim Sr., and I work in the admissions office. I'm in my 7th year here at EHS and in my 20th year in the boarding school world. So I'm quite familiar, and I'm also a parent of a current 11th grader. So I've also gotten to experience Episcopal from a parental lens, and it has been a wonderful and amazing experience for her. So here is sort of what we are looking for in terms of the admissions process. So to apply to Episcopal, you can use either of 2 applications. We take the Gateway to Prep Schools application or the standard application online. So either one is fine. Each application will have a set of questions that parents you will need to answer and that students will need to answer. The questions are slightly different for each application. So I would certainly recommend taking a look at each application and sort of seeing maybe which set of questions resonates the most with you, and then go from there. Part of the application will require that you submit 3 recommendations that are required. The first recommendation should come from a school counselor or a division head, some kind of school administrator who can talk about you as a student sort of from a 30,000-foot view. And then the other 2 required recommendations should come from your current math teacher and from your current English teacher. Outside of that, you can send some other recommendations, a personal recommendation from someone who's worked with you outside of academics, so perhaps a coach, a music teacher, someone who's mentored you in a service project, anything in that area. We're also happy to take a look at if that's something that you would like to add as well. We'll also want to look at your transcript. So we'd like to see about 2 to 3 years of academic work. So certainly your transcript from this current academic year, but then also something from the previous 2 academic years as well. If you are attending a school that is not taught in English and are applying from outside of the US, we also will need to see your English proficiency test, and we'll take a number of different forms: the TOEFL, the Duolingo test, or the IELTS scores. So any of those will be fine for you to submit. We do not offer an English language learning program at Episcopal, so it is important that you demonstrate a certain level of English proficiency. So we do use these tests to get a sense of what your English proficiency is. The other required test for all applicants is the SSAT. This is a standardized test that many independent schools, many boarding schools will require you to submit. And it's one part of the application. It is not the end all and be all of it. So this is not where you want to spend the bulk of your time stressing over. It is one part of the puzzle to give us a sense of your academic profile. So it's something that you certainly want to, eat a good breakfast for, get a good night's sleep for, but it is not something that you should stress over by any means in any large amount. And then we also require an interview. So that is something that you can do in person if you're able to make it to our campus, but you can also schedule a virtual interview if you are not able to make it to campus. To schedule an interview, you just simply need to reach out to our office by email or to reach out to us by phone. And our visit coordinator, Meg Weidenheimer, will set you up with a time. We offer interviews Monday through Friday, essentially from about 8:15 until 3-ish or so, sort of around your class schedule. So if you're on campus, we try to sort of match you up with a student who's going to take you on a tour during a class block. So that's sort of how that works. On the right-hand side are some important dates to keep in mind. On October 26th, on Saturday, October 26th, we'll host an in-person open house on our campus. There'll be an opportunity to tour the campus and to visit and connect with a bunch of different faculty members and students across different program areas on campus. On December the 14th, we'll have our Explore open house. And that's an opportunity to get more familiar with our co-curricular programs in the arts, in athletics, and also with our academic program as well. There'll be some mock classes that day that students will have a chance to attend. January 15th is the deadline for our application, as well as the financial aid application. On March 10th is when we will notify you of our decision. And then on April 10th is when you will have to decide whether or not to enroll at Episcopal if you are offered an admissions position here. All right. And then the next slide is our contact information. So that's our email and our phone number for you to use if you would like to reach out to us for any questions about anything Episcopal related, to schedule a tour, an interview, to connect with any of our students that you met tonight, to connect with any of our faculty members that you met tonight. Anything that we can help you with, that's the best way to get a hold of us. And I think we can take a few questions around the admissions process, if you have any.
I don't know that we do. It doesn't sound like, and it's just 8:41, so our timing is perfect. I just wanted to close by saying thank you to everybody for joining us tonight. I hope this was productive and you learned a little bit more about Episcopal. I know it's a lot to take in, a lot of information, but there will be a lot more opportunities to learn more about Episcopal as you're going through this process. The next big step would be to take a visit and to get a campus tour, to meet with one of our admissions officers. As Tron mentioned, we have a couple open houses on campus in October and December, and we're excited for the next steps in the process. If you have any questions that come up in the next few weeks, let us know. Otherwise, have a great evening. I hope everyone's school year is off to a strong start, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.